Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a Friday episode of House Divided. I'm Jeff Ketchum. That's Chad Hastings. We're going to be with you for, the next hour or so, doing the college football thing into a big weekend. Do us a solid like, comment, subscribe, all of it. We do appreciate it. It helps. Jump into that Specs chat, leave a message, get involved, and maybe send a super chat or two. We do not dislike that. Chad? Every once in a while, we just have an idea that comes together. Elcarello or Cinderelco. How did we do it? What is it officially?
Tyler sent me the phrase Cinderelco, and I was not planning on that one. So you know what, Catch? We're just going to start with happy thoughts for you. First off, you mentioned like and subscribe. Let's just give the updated numbers of the people and what y'all are doing. We're up to over 22,400 on subscribers. We are over 10.7 million views on the channel. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, and get those notifications. But the second layer of happiness for Mr. Ketchum today is sometimes we're talking about the show and we just don't have much. And you can always hear it in Jeff's voice because he's an honest, hard on his sleeve kind of guy. And I'm a radio kind of fake it kind of guy sometimes. But when Jeff comes up with this idea, a lot of times it'll save us. And we had one today. To be fair, I think I might have come up with the structure of the idea, but he said something specific and we got to this moment. And we need to give our graphics genius, Tyler, and if Jalen was involved, we'll give Jalen and the whole graphics crew some love. We told him, go with an image of Mike Elko as Cinderella and does the clock strike midnight. And Tyler, that's unbelievable. Well done. Well done. You've made the boss. Look at that face. Look at that face, Tyler. You've made the boss very happy today.
Well, look, I got to admit, man, Halloween last night was something else. The people in the Woodlands, Chad.
Yeah.
They take this Halloween thing more seriously than I have ever seen people take Halloween seriously. It felt like I was at Mardi Gras in New Orleans. I don't even know where these people come from, but we go over to this.
So to clarify, when you say more seriously, do you mean more candy, more costumes, just more people, more decorations outside, or like all of it?
There's a neighborhood. I don't even remember the name of the neighborhood because my wife's cousin lives there. So I just think of it as where we go to visit Casey. Casey's neighborhood, right? At Halloween, this thing transforms into Disney World of Halloween. It's the idea of the big Christmas breakouts, right? You go visit neighborhoods, and this is like the Halloween version of that, except at all times there are hundreds of kids in the street at the same time with parents. There's smoke everywhere. It feels like I'm in Beirut. It's just the whole time it's an anxiety attack because my kids are still at that age where like someone could scoop them up. They could get lost.
They're 10, right?
They're 10. They're not teenagers yet where they don't want mom and dad. And it would be like, hey, you guys go out and come back in a couple of hours. They don't have that kind of agency yet.
Right. Yep.
And then I was responsible for one of their friends who went with us. And I can't even begin to. I've never experienced it where there are so many people around everywhere, like for blocks and blocks and blocks. There are just hundreds of people everywhere in costumes, and you're trying your best. You're trying to watch the kids, trying to make sure that because every second they're distracted by something and going in different directions. And then the thing that you have to protect against these hot cougar moms that have decided on this particular night, they're just going to be sexually aggressive. It's like,
okay,
and butts and all kinds of things. And it's like, you are with your kids right now, right?
By the way, real quick, Nate throws in one, says these 15-foot mannequin decorations are getting out of control. Catch, the other night on Outsiders, Chance Mock showed us this 15-foot skeleton that he bought off of a guy and put in his yard. I got one 2 doors down from me that's this 15-foot like phantom thing. I screamed out loud in the middle of the day when I saw it for the first time. Do you have a bunch of those in your area of the Woodlands?
The entire every house is like that.
Why do they have to be 15 feet tall?
And the thing is, when the kids go, my normal trick-or-treat experience is that every time there's a knock at the door, there's like a group of anywhere between 4 to 6, maybe 8 kids who will all go to the door at the same time. And the person at the house has to give it out. And then, 2 minutes go by and then another 8. Every time in this neighborhood, someone has to give out candy. There's like 40 kids. It's a mob scene. Yeah. So, yes, you'll forgive me if I woke up a little bit today and was like, woo, let me tell you what I need. I don't want to do a show. I barely want to think about college football. I kind of just don't want to think about anything at all. And now we've got Elcarella or Cinderelka or whatever we're calling this thing. And I'm good. Let's talk some college football.
Yeah, and that's why the idea popped into my head. And thanks for people already jumping in the chat a little bit with some stats and thoughts. If you have a super chat, it'll go right to the top of the list. But as we're going through it, Catch, I'm thinking, okay, what are we hearing and seeing from Texas fans this week? It's an off week for them, but they're looking around the country, right? And they'd love to see Florida beat Georgia, and they'd love to see Kentucky beat Tennessee. But more than anything, they'd love to see South Carolina beat A&M. And why? Not only because it helps them as Texas fans, but they will get to continue a narrative that they're fond of, that makes a lot of them smile, that makes you smile, that makes you laugh. And that narrative is simple. It's that the Aggies don't finish really well. Their rep recently is they don't finish well. When you get to the Mac Brown part of the season, they'll remember November. The Aggies aren't great. Just to give you the beginning of it, Catch, they've lost 6 out of the last 8 November conference games. That's what I looked up. Forget about the easy pillow. There's always a pillow, but there's always 3 conference games. They have lost 6 of their last 8 of this type of game. So the question for Elko in this group is, can they get rid of the narrative? Can they get rid of the idea? And he has nothing to do with that. Well, not nothing. He has head coach-wise nothing to do with it. He was DC for a little bit. But that's the thing that pops in my head. You come up with the Cinderella idea, and
I gotta be honest, Chad. You're projecting a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know that you've properly described me or Texas fans completely correct.
Okay.
You've got it in your head that it's about finishing, that there's a November thing. And I think that this is the thing that's in your head because you're in the weeds. This is your baby.
Mm-hmm.
So you really know more than anything else, like what you stay up at night worried about as an A&M fan. Here we go. It's November. That has not crossed my mind all week. From my perspective, it's not a closing thing. This isn't like, oh, it's November. The clock strikes midnight on any A&M dream, right?
Except that's the exact idea you came up with for today.
No, it's more about that they're just frauds in general.
Okay.
It's not that it happens late. It's just that it always happens. That every time the Aggies think they have something nice, they're like Chris Farley and Tommy Boy with, what is it, like JoJo, the little Indian boy who's the biscuit or the roll that he destroys. That's kind of like A&M anytime they have any momentum. It's the whole thing of like national championship is 1939 and they never win anything. And then they never, like, the idea that the Aggies are forever the little boy who almost could. So it's not that like we're in November and this is when the Aggies fall apart. It's that Texas fans take great solace in that no matter how bad things have ever been at Texas, They know they don't ever have to really worry about the Aggies winning something that would make them envious.
Gotcha. By the
Where
way,
you were right is that we're on the precipice of that potentially not being true, but it's much more general than as narrow as you've looked at it at.
By the way, Michael, I am not sure where this idea would come from. A&M's first true road game of the entire season. They've been terrible on the road for the last few years. Forget the last part. They went to Florida and they went to Mississippi State. The first part makes no sense. Come on, man. What are we talking about? Like, that's silly. Terrible on the road is a discussion. I gave you those stats too about the October road games and some of the things. They have not been fantastic on the road. You're right about that, but come on. So I think, Catch, for me, it's I think that your generality and my specificity really do go together.
I agree.
I wasn't saying Longhorn fans sit around thinking about the Aggies in November. What I'm saying is, in their mind, A&M, like you said, A&M's not ultimately a factor. They're going to let their side, they're going to let their fans down, and they're going to entertain Longhorn fans at some point. But it's just that the pattern that has formed at times is good start, bad finish. It's been a 5-1, 5-0. And what do Longhorn fans do when that happens? Wait, it's okay. Just wait. It's okay. It's all right. Just wait. You know, it's like if you're rooting for the other person in a Rocky movie, halfway through, it's like Clubber Lang looks bad. Just wait. Just wait. So I think that's been the.
Well, they made that Ivan Drago look like he can't lose.
That dude is badass. Just wait. What's the movie called?
Killed Apollo.
What's the movie called? Right. So yeah, I think that's all kind of baked into this thing. And hell, I brought it up a few weeks ago. Last time A&M went to South Carolina, they lost big. It was embarrassing. So I do think Longhorn fans are kind of cooking up that next Aggie joke because they think it may show up at about 10:30 Saturday night.
Dude, I'm telling you, Texas fans are geeked up about the idea that on Saturday night they could clown some A&M fans on social media.
Yeah.
Because I do believe that Texas fans look at what A&M has accomplished right now, and there's always a yeah, but.
Mm-hmm.
Will they beat Missouri? Yeah, but Missouri kind of sucks. So how much credit do we really want to give A&M for that? LSU last week was a big game. And yet coming out of it, there's but it's Brian Kelly. And, you know, what is LSU really?
And here's Blake. The Aggies are going to Aggie before
That's what I'm saying. For Texas fans, the identity of Aggie, the definition of it is ultimately coming up short and being a failure. Now, that's not fair.
No,
it's not fair. And there have been other teams in other sports that have won national champions and that have disproved this idea that just because you're an Aggie, you come up short. This is very much an A&M football thing. Blake, if he was going to be completely accurate, would be A&M football is always going to be, or A&M football will go Aggie football before too long. That's the football thing.
Right.
And it's funny to me because when did this start? Because when I was in my formative years, A&M was slapping Texas around pretty good. I get to college, and Makovic and Texas flipped that thing. When did A&M become the joke? Because from the first half of my life, A&M football was taken pretty seriously. I grew up as a Baylor fan, turned into a Texas student, worked at Texas. Suddenly, Texas football's kind of my life. But in the first half of my life, A&M football was very serious. Nobody said things like, well, they'll muck it up late. No, they won some Southwest Conference championships, played in some big bowl games, made Tim Brown look a thing or two, right? So when did this happen? When did A&M football become the joke? When did it happen?
It's a good question. Throw it into the chat today. If you want to throw us a super chat, we will also get that. We had a chatter earlier give you Catch some credit. To be honest, Catch did say the Aggies would win against LSU and lose to South Carolina. We will see if the second half of the prediction comes true.
I think this is a horrible matchup for A&M. That there's quarterback uncertainty to the point where we still don't know who the starter is going to be. It's a game time decision.
I think that's how at least that's how Elko said they were handling it on Monday. See how practice goes, do what's best for the team. But yes, I've not heard an official announcement. I don't know what the depth chart says. I haven't peeked at that, but the depth chart said, it said Wigman when Wigman did start against Missouri. So maybe it says read this. I don't know.
But I think this speaks to what I'm talking about. That I don't know that South Carolina is the team that you want to be going onto the road at night and with quarterback uncertainty. That, you know what we'll do? We'll just trick them and not let them know who we're going to play. Man, you'd much rather just have the guy that's a badass that it's like, well, they got to stop this guy. But I don't know that this is Marcel Reed's. I don't know that, we've seen Marcel Reed start games. He's not awful. He's better than Michael Hawkins, but he's a still developing player that you can see where he's a dynamic threat, but you can also see oh boy, if you're forcing him to do that, I don't know how well that's going to work. Is this a game where Weigman can flip the switch and be the Weigman that A&M fans thought he would be going into this season? I just don't know that this is the right opponent. I have South Carolina for me is, along with Arkansas, one of the two teams in this conference that aren't really big time. They're not going to compete for anything at the national stage. But on their day, if you mess around, you could find out the hard way that the SEC can be really a tough place, not at the top, but in the belly, in the middle tier. And, this isn't even as much about an A&M thing for me. I don't know that this is a good matchup for them, and I think South Carolina will win the game. I actually don't think that's an indictment on A&M football. I don't know what I would think about Texas going to play South Carolina on the road this weekend. I would view that a little bit like I view the game in Fayetteville in a few weeks, very threatening. I don't know how to handicap it, but you can't go in there saying 90% chance Texas wins that game. Really? Because when they get it going, South Carolina is got all the defense that it needs, and on days when they find some offense, they're a handful. So, I don't – whatever happens tomorrow night, Chad, I won't view that as truly an indictment on A&M, much as I guess I would think they're kind of exactly who I think they are, which is pretty good football team, maybe even a playoff level team, but certainly a team that on the road against a certain level of opponent can find themselves taking an L on any given night. Does it sound like a horrible thing to say about somebody? But it's not quite nationally elite either. I don't look at A&M going on the road tomorrow and thinking to myself, well, this is the same as if Ohio State was going on the road, or if Oregon was going on the road, or if Georgia is going on the road. They don't belong in that company. They're probably a tier or a tier and a half away from that. But the way I suppose you get into that next tier is you win games like at South Carolina when people like myself think, oh, that's a bad matchup. They're not quite ready for this. Show me I'm wrong.
Super chats roll in. ATX Bates is going to start us off. $4.99. Thank you, Bates. I want top 5 between Texas and A&M. It adds a level of respect to the rivalry nationally. Michigan and Ohio State is bigger because of the volume of top 5 games. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
I would actually change my remark a little bit. Michigan and Ohio State is bigger because those schools are basically very good every year.
Yeah.
And that's not what these two teams have been.
No. And as we talked about plenty of times, yeah, Michigan and Ohio State have proven they can also be good at the same time.
That's what I'm saying. Like, take your stat about Texas and Texas A&M and apply it to Michigan and Ohio State.
Oh, it's nuts.
It's nuts.
I've done it plenty of times. It is insane. You don't even have to go that far. All you have to do is apply the stat that I focus on so much to Bedlam, and it'll make you ill if you're a Longhorn or an Aggie. Like, no, they can't compete with any minor rivalry, much less the major ones. It's crazy. And Bates, I want exactly what you want. I would love that to be a top 5 matchup. It's a top 10 matchup right now, and that's only happened twice. Like, just think about that. A top 10 matchup, Aggies, Longhorns, twice.
When was the last top 10 matchup?
And it ain't 90, and it ain't 95. 75 is the last time it happened.
Wow, I wasn't even born yet.
That's the year, Catch, that they both won 10, and it's the only year they both won 10. The only other time is 1941.
Were you born yet? Or you're a little bit older than me, right?
In 75, I would have been about to turn 1. Yes.
So it's happened in your lifetime, but not in mine.
Exactly. And so it's a just barely.
By about 6 months, but 6 months nonetheless.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. By the way, just a really extra stupid stat. Both those games in College Station, 41 and 75, just kind of weird. So maybe we're cooking up towards number 3 in College Station. But Bates, I totally agree with you. I would love to see it happen. Rock Drums 499 says, does the football team, student athletes, get educated on the historic rivalry in depth?
Not like you're probably asking. I know that they'll do times where they'll get former players together and stuff like that, and they'll try to tell them a little bit about, hey, what was it like? But no, I guarantee you if we polled every single, that actually could be funny. Be a good viral video to be able to get interviews with like quick one-on-ones with 10 guys on both teams and ask them, when was the last time these two teams played against each other in the top 10? What years would they come out of their mouth?
Right. Yeah. It's
1902. No. Like, I'm curious because I don't think I didn't know the answer to that, Rock Drum. So I can't imagine that there'd be very few, I think. And I doubt that they'll have a handle on the history. Consider this. How old were those kids the last time these two teams played? Colin Simmons, 18 years old, would have been barely old enough to watch it.
Yep.
6?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the other good. Yeah, we're 12 full seasons away from that game even occurring. So, yeah, it's just so rare. And by the way, for the record, one top 5 ever. 1975 was a top 5. It was number 2 versus number 5. So they've only done a top 5 once, top 10 twice.
Well, and the last time, the 95 games, the last time where it felt like, real. You could say 98, I suppose, but there really weren't stakes in that game other than Ricky was trying to break the record and Texas needed a win to probably get to the Cotton Bowl, but there weren't conference stakes on the line that day. So if you're going back to 95, you got to find someone who's almost 40,
right,
above 35, that would remember these two teams playing in a game where there were real stakes. So, it's exciting to think about. Look, we do a show called House Divided where one half of it is burnt orange and the other is maroon. The idea that in the second year of this show, we could be 14, 15 months in, and we could get something that's a Halley's Comet-like event would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it'd be incredible. It would be incredible. We do have a super chat waiting, Tom G. We appreciate that. We have maybe the most clever chat of the day, and it didn't even take many characters to pull that off. But right now, I want to hear Jeff Ketchum tell all of y'all about Rogue Shop. Ketch might be a good idea for part of the off weekend, chill out with a little Rogue Shop.
Let me tell you what helped last night, that trick-or-treating. I had my own little trick-or-treat. It was just treat and treat. And I was treating myself to Rogue, help take the edge off. Yes, sometimes it can be about anxiety, or it could be pain or sleeplessness or any number of things. Last night, man, it was about, I'm about to be surrounded literally by hundreds of kids and parents and smoke and 20-foot monsters in the air. There were some pretty creepy displays in the neighborhood that we were in. And I was like, the only thing that's going to help is Rogue Shop. And it did. I made it through with a smile. Even took some good photos because Rogue helped me do that. Look, scan that QR code. Go shopping. Go see what they have. It's fun. If you've never purchased before, I think sometimes just seeing the products is worth a smile. It'll make you ask questions. If you have any, Shar will be there to answer them for you. They are Orange Bloods, family owned. They're in our family. They are subscribers. They bleed orange, and when the Longhorns lose, they feel it like you do. So keep your money in the family. You can go anywhere, but go where the best service is, the best product, the best people. Rogue Shop.
All right. Shout out to Rogue. That website is awesome. There's so many different things on there. Y'all throw in some super chats if you like. I believe we need to grab this one. Tom G, $10. Texas rolls after the much needed bye. Catch, you going to the TCH tonight for the tournament?
Tom, it's possible. Because if not now, I don't know when. Football season makes it tough. Because I only do it. The only reason why you would do it is if you're in it to win it. If you're in it to go there for the distance, and that means playing cards till about 4 a.m. And on football weekends, I've had to make decisions where it's like, oh, I got to do the show. I've got to be functioning. Do I want to do it on a couple of hours of sleep? And every time Chad, professional. Personified.
Always.
I've been not scratching my poker itch. I'm talking myself into it, Tom. I would say I would handicap it at 65-35. And this is before I've been thinking about it even before you asked the question. Quite frankly, your $10 question is quite ironic because I've been having this little mini conversation in my head. And you know what? Yes, it's 100%. Because let me tell you why. Chad, I found out this morning my kids get a 4-day weekend this weekend. They get Monday and Tuesday off because of the election.
What?
What kind of horse shit is this?
Dude, I'm telling you, these kids, between that, fair days, fall breaks, I didn't even know these things happened. And
Hendrix in the car today gloated.
Oh, I bet.
Over 4. Well, we got a 4-day weekend, Dad. I was like, what? Wait, no, because you're going to school on a Friday. How could you have a 4-day weekend on a day? No, the election. We get Monday and Tuesday off. And when I pulled into the school, I looked up at the marquee, and it said, I think 4th and the 5th off. And I was like, how? I went to schools where elections, it is possible to let these people vote. But I guess now think about it. They're so sensitive about school security. It takes a petition from Congress to get into schools. And look, I'm glad it's that way. But I guess if on voting days, you got a school full of adults that wouldn't normally belong there, maybe that's it. But all I know is, yes, my kids have a 4-day weekend. I'm going to go play some poker tonight. Yes. 100%.
You deserve it. You've earned it. And you should go have a good time at TCH. And to all the kids, this is not fair what I'm about to say, but I think it's true. Until you have a driver's license, you shouldn't be able to say 3, 4, and 5-day weekend out loud. You just shouldn't. You can tell me when you don't go to school. Don't say 4-day weekend like you know what it means. Don't do that. Don't do that. Until you have a driver's license. If you have to
I taught my kids that, though. I can't blame my kids for that.
Yeah, but that's it. We got to stop. Really, we got to quit.
If my son told you that in person, you would find him quite precocious. I would imagine.
It would hurt. That would hurt. That would hurt, man. That's good. Good for them, though. Good for them. All right, Catch. Just to wrap up a couple chats, we got Tex Blonde, who we love and who we believe is very real, says 3 things you can always count on: death, taxes, and Aggies going to blow it.
Hey, Chad, my microphone's in the middle. Like, my microphone's right here, okay?
Okay.
But my screen is like right here. So all I could see was 3 things you can always count on: death, taxes, and Aggies going to blow. And I was like, whoa! I don't. What? How does that end? Oh, below it. Okay.
It. And then earlier, Catch, you asked the question: when did it start for A&M? When did it happen? And Trey might have the best chat of the day, not for me, but for all of you. Just type 1940.
Damn, Trey, that's fucking hard, man.
Trey, that's rude. That is so rude. I don't even know how to process how rude that is. So yeah, no. Let's just not. But
can I tell you when I think it was?
Sure.
There are two that kind of stand out in my mind. The Mississippi State Snow Bowl game was the first time I can remember watching an A&M game and it being a joke. And it being funny that they were even involved in the game, funny that they lost that game. I can remember watching that on television and just thinking it was funny in ways that, and I think it's different. I mean, the reality is there's got to be an answer to this question that's different for everybody. And let me give you another one. January 1st, 2005. That was a day that Texas beat Michigan in the Rose Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what the Aggies did on that day, Chad?
Hang on. Jan 1 of 05. Was that like, hang on. Jan 1 of 05. Was that like was that the loss to Tennessee?
Yeah.
Okay. Casey Clausen, maybe? That Tennessee?
I don't remember who was playing quarterback.
Okay.
I just remember that I woke up on January 1st in LA, and Texas getting ready to play Michigan in the Rose Bowl, and the Aggies just got dealt with in a way that it was like, they're just not serious. And for most of the last 20 years from that game moving forward, they really weren't. They had moments, but it always just felt like every time they get close. Because there's a world where if A&M plays Tennessee that day, you know, they could make a statement. It could have been memorable. And in the end, they got like horsewhipped. I don't even remember the score of the game other than, again,
I don't
remember that day people laughing at the Aggies.
I'll look it up for you, but I don't remember it.
There was just laughter at like, God, they're just not ready for this. And then on that day, Texas really started under Mac Brown to reach the beginning of the mountaintop. The whole "we'll be back" and, you know, the promises from Vince that they would then come back. It was like 44-14, right?
38-7.
Okay. It was bad.
Yeah. Ugh.
Sorry to bring that up. But if you're asking me in my memory bank, because again, A&M football is viewed as a joke by Texas fans, but it wasn't always a joke. So when did it become a joke that when they go on the road tomorrow against South Carolina, there's this feeling of inevitability that A&M will blow it because that's what they do, because right at the moment that they think they're getting ready to touch the Holy Grail, somebody takes the grill and bops them over the head with it. I think for me, those are the two. And I guess the other answer could be any of those Chris Sim games where, you know, he's just peppering balls to Roy Williams or BJ or Sloan. And other than that bonfire game, it really started to feel like Texas played around with A&M whenever, kind of however they wanted to. It switched really quick. That 95 game occurs, and then in 96, the next year, James Brown and that team just bludgeons A&M. And then A&M wins in 97 and they win in 99. But for the most part, it flips into a rivalry where you just felt like Texas really controlled A&M the way Oklahoma controlled Texas at that time. And those are the moments that stick out in my head.
We've had some good chats in. If you have super chats, you can throw those in. Also, we got a good chat in with some stats about how good South Carolina is.
That's fair, Rex.
We will get into that. Rex says it has to be the 77-0 game. All right, that'd be a little after the game in the snow that Ketch was talking about. I believe that was 03 season. Is 77-0? I think that 03 or 04.
Well, the thing that stands out about that game was that's the Johnny Jolly game, right? Where he celebrates down 77-0. He got a sack or something. Like, I know Johnny Jolly's name.
Oh God, I forgot about that. Yeah, that'd be the 03 season.
Okay.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Oh, geez. There's a lot that just sort of blacked out after, right? Like, all I remember, Catch, was there was a minute 59 to go in the third quarter, and there was a screenshot everybody sent out of Fran just standing there on the sideline. It was already 77-0 with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter.
You lost 77-0, and they called the dogs off.
Oh, I always say, Catch, that Bob Stoops was one of the most benevolent, like, dictators when he was blowing you away of any coach I've ever watched. That could have been 95-0, no problem. No problem. There's a play where I swear he told his fullback, if I hand you this ball and you are wide open to go to the end zone and you don't fall at the 4, I'm taking everything away from you. I'm going to take your scholarship. I'm kicking you out of school. Like, understand it. Like, you could have absolutely almost hit 100 that day.
So I Googled Johnny Jolly because, I haven't said that out loud. I can't remember.
Okay.
And you made me question myself for a second. Did I remember Jolly Jolly for the wrong thing? So I typed in Johnny Jolly 77-0.
Uh-huh.
Up pops a column from Barry Trammell in 2004. Let me read it to you, okay?
Damn, he did something so weird. Trammell paid attention?
The next year.
Oh, God.
Here's the lead. With a minute left in a 77-0 game, with the Sooners appearing to play at 3/4 speed, Texas A&M tackle Johnny Jolly popped Oklahoma tailback Dante Hickson for a 4-yard loss. And then Jolly celebrated with a quick dance. Perfect example of the modern me first football player.
Oh, yeah. Trammell enjoyed typing that. Barry enjoyed typing that sentence. Oh, my God. That's funny.
And then it says, but on the dreary Aggie sideline, Coach Dennis Franchione was pleased. For maybe the first time all day, he saw spark.
Wow. That's just that.
I didn't even take you back in time, Chad.
Did they call it trolling back then? Like, how do you?
They didn't, but they should have.
Who knew Barry Trammell was the original troller? That is fantastic. We got a couple chats we will get to right now, though. We will bring you the good news that comes out of the bad news. The AV consultation spot, it is done. The one with Camilla McKay. But what does that mean? I was told that the old standby can come back. That means Ketch is going to hear the phrase that makes him smile the most. If you need a setup, this is the place that can bring it to you. Here we go.
Hi, this is Tom McKay with Audiovisual Consultations. Today's home electronics can be a bit daunting. My company has spent the last 36 years making sure they are not. For those of you who have not experienced our services yet, we'd like to invite you to give us a try for all your home electronics needs. We carry all the major brands of televisions and stereo equipment at prices you can't find in stores. And we come to you. There's no need to leave your home to find great pricing and incomparable service. No traffic, inexperienced sales geeks, or pushy showroom tactics. We believe in having some fun and dreaming big. You have a dream for your home entertainment? Let us know. We can make it come true. And we are always there to help after the job is done. We cultivate clients for a lifetime by treating everyone like their family. No, not those family members. I'm talking about the ones you actually like. So relax, hug your kids, make love to your wife, and smile. Then, when you have a moment, give us a call at 255-8678. That's 512-255-8678. Or online at avconsultations.com.
So Catch, now because of Camilla, that is now your second favorite, right?
Correct.
Camilla's now. Yeah.
I don't want to misrepresent people. I enjoy that.
Right. Silver medal, make love to your wife and smile. Gold medal, make love to whoever the hell you want.
You've properly framed it, yes.
There you go. All right. Speaking of properly framing, we got some good stats here on South Carolina. But first, Jerry the Targaryen Steamboat. I mentioned a while back, this is the first time in almost 50 years that A&M's controlled their own national title destiny in November. Jerry, that is a big hunk of perspective right there. I did see that comment that you made a couple weeks ago, and I guess that would be fair. Unless you want to talk about, an early to mid-season team that's like 5-0, 5-1, 6-1, and then they kind of fall apart. So you could say they had national championship stuff in their control, but really early in the season. But as you point out, in November, I can't remember. If there was a real playoff system, 2020 would be the last time. But there wasn't a real system that year, and they got, they were just on the outside. Maybe it has been 50 years. Catch, here are some numbers to back up your idea that South Carolina is going to get this win from Michael. Says, outside of UT, South Carolina is by far the best defense A&M will play. Some key stats. Pass efficiency, D, number 12 in the country. Sacks, number 3. Interceptions, number 17. Tackles for loss, number 7. Total D, 13. Forced turnovers, 13. Rush D, 16.
They're good. That's what I'm saying.
They really are. The biggest matchup of the game, Catch, the strength on strength, is A&M has played Arkansas, who is the 37th best rush defense in the country. And as Michael accurately threw it in here, South Carolina's at 16. A&M is 9th in the country running the ball. Now, at times they don't feel like that, but that's what the numbers tell us. That's where they have to win this thing, Catch. There's no way A&M goes into this game and has like an run day and wins. No way. They're going to need like 4 turnovers from South Carolina to do that. The Aggies have to run on this top 20 run defense. If they don't, I think they're going to lose.
There's no way.
No way that you could come from my loins. Yeah. That is and that's where, Catch, I can't figure out what, like when I start to think about what the Aggies should do at quarterback, I go back and forth, but some of these numbers Michael's throwing out lead me ultimately to Reed, because the argument I would make to the Aggie coaches is, if you couldn't make a dent on the 103rd best pass defense in the country, what makes you think you're going to go after a top 40 pass defense in their place? You got to go headlong into your thing, and that is the run game. And if you get stopped, you get stopped. But going in there and trying to chunk that ball all over the place, I do not know if that's the way to go.
Well, and I also think, if nothing else, that the style that A&M probably needs this game to play at calls for a close late game. That the way A&M needs to find success and win probably lends itself to a closer game. I don't know that A&M runs away from South Carolina with its run game. It may be the way that it wins, and maybe you could. There's a pathway to a double-digit win by just, if it's really cooking, bludgeoning them. But it really feels like, to me, a fourth quarter game that I don't know exactly. It feels 50-50 to me.
I think the only way this game is a blowout either way is if the defenses make it happen. If there's a lot of short porch stuff. Like, I still think, Catch, I'd love to hear the answer. I'm sure they'd still tell us they were going to Reed, but I still wonder if Nussmeier never lets that ball go at 17-7. Do the Aggies actually pull the trigger on Reed? Because that ended up being like that ball went to the 8, I think it was, on the return. So they went doorstep, touchdown, and then things started rolling. I think that's how this one could get out of whack, if one of those defenses creates a lot of short field, easy touchdowns for the offenses.
let's transition a little bit. Just I want to ask you about a few other games across the spectrum before we get into buy or sell.
All right.
11 a.m. Ohio State, Penn State. Do you have expectations? Ohio State goes into this game a field goal favorite.
Yeah.
The over and under would suggest that Vegas is expecting a 24-21 type game.
Right.
Penn State going to be in this thing in the fourth quarter, really?
No. I mean, that's my expectation is no, and they need to prove it to me. This is like a few years ago, Catch, when Jimbo was going head up with Bama and the second halves were just nothing. He had to overcome that. That's Penn State to me. Make it a game at the half. Make me actually have to watch the fourth quarter, then I'll believe it. Until then, I think they're a fraud. I do. I'm not trying to be like I know Feinbaum had his fun this week with James Franklin, but in big moment games, they fail.
Yeah.
And they have failed under him. And they haven't looked great. And they have ultimately succumbed to this group, and they've succumbed to Michigan. So prove it. You're at home. The crowd will be crazy. You're going to have to prove it to me, Penn State. I'll take Ohio State, and I think by the end it's like 10 or more.
I think Ohio State. The thing is, what do we think of this Ohio State team? Before I say the big, bold, maybe hyperbole-filled comment, Ohio State's fourth.
Yeah.
Do we think they're great?
I think they're right on the borderline of it. I think there are moments where they are great. I think they're kind of like, I mean, they love to bludgeon you to death. There's not a lot pretty about them except the receiver. Like the freshman receiver's a stud, but they'll just, they will cut you up and slice you up and beat you up. And by the end of the game, you're not quite ready for what it is.
I think this Ohio State team gets beat by double digits against the best Ohio State teams of the last half decade or decade.
That might be true because those great teams aren't going to get beat like that. Aren't going to have a close game with that Nebraska team and some others. But they're a real group. They're real, and I think they're real good. Are they consistently great? No. Great is not – I wouldn't quite go there. I'd say they're really good, but I don't think they're great.
I think this game could tell us a lot. I think the great Ohio State teams go into Happy Valley against this Penn State team and beat them by 3 touchdowns and just humiliate Penn State.
No, it'd be like 35-6.
I wonder if Penn State wins this game. Suddenly Ohio State's got 2 losses. And they fall into the Alabama tier of don't mess up again, boys.
Right. And is Aller playing in this game? Do we know?
I think it's kind of a game time decision.
Yeah. Okay. That one's interesting. Rhett, thank you for throwing that one in. Also, I saw just a quick note on another game we may or may not talk about. SMU is getting their quarterback.
Yes.
This game. He's been cleared to play. So that's kind of interesting.
So anyway, the Ohio State-Penn State game's big.
Oh, yeah.
And it's crazy to think that a Penn State win could set up, because I think Penn State probably runs the table. On paper, they should. That could set the stage for a monster Penn State-Oregon Big Ten championship game where the winner gets the 1 seed in the playoff. Now, look, Penn State can lose by 25 tomorrow and nobody would blink, but the stakes of this game are pretty significant. And again, Ohio State losing would mean with a third of the season to go, they have no more margin of error. That they fall into that Alabama deal where if they win out, they're in. But if you mess around with 2 losses and get a third, I don't know that this is the year that you'd want to be Ohio State or Alabama and test the 3-loss theory.
Yeah.
Real quick, Ole Miss at Arkansas. It's another 11 o'clock game.
Man, the battle of who do you trust? The battle
Ole Miss
of
is a 7.5 point favorite.
The battle of bad babysitters.
I'm taking Arkansas on the points all day long. You're giving me more than a touchdown.
You said it's Ole Miss by 7.5.
7.5.
Nah, that's going to be a close, ugly, sloppy game. I'm with you. I'd take those points. I mean, this feels like a game where we won't be paying attention and Ole Miss will figure out a way to at least win the thing. But I don't know. I'm with you on the Arkansas team. There's a danger to them. You got to be paying attention. They're not going to just lie down for you. So that's a fascinating game. Loser has 3 conference losses. Like the winner can always hope that madness happens at the second place spot, and maybe there's a chance to worm your way into Atlanta or at least into maybe a playoff spot at the very least. So I don't know. I'm with you though.
Well, that's what Ole Miss is playing for. I think Ole Miss is not in competing for they're 2-2 and they're not even halfway through. They've already got 2 losses and even winning the table. Probably right. Ole Miss's goal this season was to make the playoff. Right.
Now running again, it just depends on how it. I mean, if they run the table, I believe that would include beating Georgia. And there's I don't know if there's truly a path. I haven't looked that deep into it, but at least you keep something alive.
I mean, you better beat the only way it can happen is by winning this game at Arkansas. It's the reason I bring it up because I think Ole Miss's season is on the line in this game, and I'm not so sure that the wrong team is favored. If it was a pick'em game, it doesn't change the way I would view the game. There's a part of me that thinks Arkansas wins this game outright tomorrow, and maybe suddenly Arkansas at 6-3, 4-2 in conference.
Yep.
Now they're ranked, and they get 2 weeks to get ready for Texas, and that game would feel so different.
Yeah. That's it. You took the words right out of my mouth. If Arkansas wins, they get Texas off a bye.
And they suddenly are ranked and they look like a team that's really formidable. Whereas if they lose, they're a 5-4 team. They're 500. They're Arkansas.
Yeah.
They get to be Arkansas with a capital A with a shiny ranking next to their name that they won't lose in a bye week. So it's a chance for them to emerge. And if they, who knows, maybe not even 25. Maybe they're, depending on what happens in the weekend, maybe they come. I don't know. I'm just saying, we may look at that Arkansas game in a few weeks.
Yeah. For the record, for Chris's comment here, if Arkansas beats Ole Miss, that might not bode well for Texas. Chris, I'd stop thinking about all that stuff. If I was a Texas fan, I would realize one very important truth about that game. It does not matter how Arkansas comes in. I think Ole Miss could beat them. Ole Miss could beat them 66-0 tomorrow.
It could be 77-0 part 2.
It could be 77-0, and they bring Dennis Franchione to the sideline to celebrate, and Arkansas will still be absolutely just as ready for Texas as they would have been.
Can't say it any better. It's so
that
true.
Place is going to be frothy on November the 16th. Are you kidding me?
I'm sorry, Chad.
I was going to say, I was going to throw a super chat in here real quick from Oscar, throwing some game stuff in, $4.99. Nebraska almost beat Ohio State. What are we talking about? Indiana beat Nebraska almost as bad as OU beat Aggies in that 70-0 game. Oscar, it's a great point. And here's what's happening. I'll admit this. I will admit it. I am treating Penn State the way maybe all of you are treating A&M.
Yep.
I don't believe in them. I don't believe that in the biggest moments, they're going to step up and they're going to get these wins. I need James Franklin to show me. I feel like and also he's shown me what I don't think it's always dumb football for the Aggies in every case. I'm not saying there hadn't been some. What James Franklin shows me is dumb football. Like, they'll be like, you don't want that field goal? Okay. You're going for 2 here? Okay. You didn't call that timeout? Okay. You don't want a minute and a half before the quarter ends? You're just going to get in a Big Ten game? Okay. I've seen a lot of that too. That's James Franklin also has to overcome that little hurdle where I think he's a dumb coach in the moment. You can't do that in the biggest games.
Now, look, maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe it's not. When I watch Penn State play, I look at James Franklin in recent years, and the thing that always crosses my mind is that's Del Conte's guy. I have heard, and again, maybe this is misrepresented. Maybe the grits are overcooked, but I've heard that Del Conte and James Franklin are boys.
Mm-hmm.
Boys.
Yeah.
And when it became obvious that Tom Herman wasn't going to be the coach at Texas anymore, or that was a serious thing to think about, James Franklin was the first name that got trial ballooned in Austin during the middle of that 2020 season, the COVID season. And it didn't work out. Franklin couldn't have been it that year because Penn State was awful. I forget what their final record was. 2-8 or 2-7. It was really bad. It was a record where he just, even though I think Franklin would have been maybe candidate number one in a year where Penn State were, if 2020 Penn State were having this kind of a season, ooh, I'm just telling you what the streets say. So having known that for the last few seasons, Chad, every time I watch Penn State, I watch it through the prism of how would Texas fans react if James Franklin was the Texas coach and these are his Longhorns.
Yes,
and the
exactly.
thing you were talking about, I think to myself, how would Texas fans respond to this game management or to this clock management or this particular decision in a game down in distance and time on the clock, all of these things. And I will do that tomorrow. I'll watch that game and I'll think either, this is who I think James Franklin of Penn State is, or I'll go, maybe he could have been the Texas head coach and had success. I will say this, though, Oscar. We literally just got finished saying that the really good Ohio State teams would beat this Ohio State team by double digits. So, I don't know. What are we talking about?
Right. And again, I'm going to say this one beats Penn State by double digits, too. I need Penn State to prove
that's
me wrong.
You giving Ohio State it's normal Ohio State juice.
Right. I'm cooking them up a little too much.
And it's you looking at Penn, you're doing both at the same time.
Yep, I am.
That's how you get to double digits on the road.
That's exactly true. That is why I am not betting on that game at all. Because if I don't need to let those feelings go into my wallet, and then I would lose money.
Okay, a couple more I wanted to just ask you about.
Okay.
The game you think has a chance of these two games I'm about to give you. I just want you to tell me the one that you think has the biggest chance of being a fourth quarter game in some capacity.
Okay.
Oregon at Michigan, Florida against Georgia.
Cocktail party.
Really?
Of those two, yeah. I'm going to trust Oregon enough that by the end of it, that Michigan's just too stodgy and too clunky to hang out with them. I was really impressed with Oregon last week. I thought Illinois was going to go out there, not beat them. I thought they were going to go out there, cover that big number, and make Oregon win like a real substantial football game. Oregon just paper-cutted them to death. It was impressive to watch. So I'll take them to have a comfier fourth quarter. There's something, I don't know what it is about this Florida Georgia game that tells me I don't think Texas fans are going to get what they need here. And for that matter, it'd be Aggie fans and LSU fans and others that need Georgia to lose. But I don't quite think it's that. I think Georgia's going to have to win a fight, though. And I certainly think it's going to cover, 17? I think that's a close game. I think that's like a 10-ish at the end kind of a game.
I think Michigan's going to drag Oregon into a game.
Yeah.
And I think Oregon's going to win, but I think that's going to be the game of the weekend. I think we're going to get Oregon just dragged into a Michigan game. And I think they'll win, but I think it could be like a 29-24 type of game that Oregon wins late.
And so just walk me through it, Catch, because I don't know how this protocol works. So as Oregon is doing that, let's say you're right, as Oregon is finishing off that victory, if I'm the typical, say, 45-year-old Oklahoma fan, am I drinking whiskey first and then punching myself in the face? Or do I drink like 6 beers and then bang my head against a door? Like, how do I process the Dylan Gabriel success if I'm an OU fan?
I think you've completely missed the boat.
Okay.
Well, first of all, it wouldn't be beer because beer in Oklahoma is weaker. So
I'm sorry, I meant Oklahoma beer, like the 2.1%.
I'm letting you know that it's crystal meth.
Oh, it's a meth hit. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
my bad.
No, OU fans, it'll be crystal meth.
Okay, it's meth. Sorry. I'm sorry, OU fans.
If you know that going in, it explains the teeth so much better.
It really does. One does lead to the other. Yeah, that's definitely true. We've got buy or sell coming up. We got Scottish guy on the bye week number 2 coming up. Also,
banquet beer doesn't do that to your teeth, Chad.
No, banquet beer does not do that.
It does that to your insides.
Yeah. And you know what else does not do that to your teeth? The glory of Deep Eddy Vodka. That does not do the same thing to your teeth, and it is definitely good on the insides. Go out there this weekend, have yourself one of these great cocktails, enjoy the off weekend out in the beautiful hill country, out there in beautiful Dripping Springs. For Friday and Saturday, it'll be 11 to 7, Sunday 12 to 5. If you need a recommendation, right down there in that lower left area, Dreamsicle. Oh yeah, it's lovely. Right after Halloween, go get a little Dreamsicle cocktail at Deep Eddy Vodka. It's good stuff. Have some of that barbecue as well. Take your friends and family. Have a great time. Obviously, do it responsibly, but check out the Deep Eddy Vodka tasting room. It might be a good place to drown your sorrows, Oklahoma fans, if you see Dylan Gabriel have nothing but success. Let me see if we have any super chats right now. I don't see any super chats. We are across the 1 o'clock threshold. Catch, are you feeling a little buy or sell right now?
I am. Let's play some buy or sell. Let's get our asses into the weekend.
First or second?
I'll go first today.
All righty.
Buy or sell number 1. The clock doesn't strike midnight tomorrow night on the Aggies. They beat the Gamecocks in South Carolina.
I'll buy. I really like the way this Aggie team feels in terms of just the reality of it. I've been saying the whole season. I think it feels real. Not quite sure if it's going to be real good all the time, but they've shown us enough real good. I think they will get this one handled. I believe in that defense and kind of the way they approach games. I think they'll figure it out.
Oh, that's cute. Buy or sell.
Thank you for patronizing the answer. Well done. Present a buy or sell, knowing that I might pick the Aggies, and then have your patronizing response ready. That's well played.
Look up the word patronizing in the dictionary, and there's a picture of my face. Buy or sell number 2. Should Oregon handle Michigan either with ease or in a dramatic, climactic way that comes with an exclamation mark? You think it will rightfully put Dylan Gabriel in the top 3 for the Heisman race?
Yeah, that's a buy. I mean, the quarterback on the best team is supposed to get Heisman love anyway, but he's putting together some nice numbers. He's putting together some pretty serious production. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That's a buy.
Buy or sell number 3, Garrett Wilson's touchdown catch against the Texans last night. Better than OBJ's catch against the Cowboys.
I'm going to sell. I'm going to go OG and OBJ based on the fact of what he had to do body-wise, how he has to turn that body. He's going backwards. Remember, he only caught it with 3 fingers. Like, we always like to go with the immediate stuff. The tri-claw was unbelievable. So I'm still going to lean that way. But Garrett Wilson had 2 of them last night. The catch in the middle of the field, the one-hander to create a touchdown was incredible. But the fact that those receivers and DBs all brought up the OBJ catch shows you how great it was. Congrats to the Lake Travis product for pulling that off last night. It was awesome. I'll say it wasn't quite OBJ, but damn it, I know why they thought of OBJ.
I mean, you had to ask the question, though. At least.
You did, absolutely. It is right there, but I'll still say it's just shy of that. I'm glad, by the way, they called it a touchdown catch. My nerdy eye still doesn't officially tell me if it is, but I'm glad it ended up being a touchdown.
Buy or sell number 4. Holiday decorations are already going up in neighborhoods all across the country. And for you, anything before November 15th is cause for execution.
I mean, ultimately that's a buy. I am very big on the Halloween on the Christmas decorations, but I'm one of those, like, we got to get to Thanksgiving week before I seriously start considering it. Like, I'm going to leave it up a month. Don't get me wrong now. We're going to leave it up a month, but that month needs to be like November 28 to December 28, or like, December 3 to Jan 3, like something like that. We can't have any November 10, November 5. No, we can't do that.
I've changed my tune on this over the years.
You becoming an early bird?
I used to be well, here's the thing. Number one, I think it just makes the neighborhoods more pleasant.
Oh,
it's just nice. I'm for leaving the lights on all year long because it's so much more pleasant just driving around the neighborhoods, and it's so pretty and nice. And the other thing is, I am got to get on the schedule of the light hangers. I don't do it myself. So either you get it done early sometimes, or you get on the back of the schedule.
This is first world Christmas scheduling problems.
Yes.
You have a crew set it up for you.
And it's expensive.
I bet it is.
But you have to do it early, or you end up getting it done late. And I may let the lights stay up till March, more so than just a month.
Here's something I hadn't thought of, Catch, without getting into to either side. Do you think if everybody set their had their Christmas decorations ready to go on Tuesday, do you think America could deal with the results of this election even better because the pretty lights would be out?
It helps.
Couldn't hurt, right? It couldn't hurt.
It couldn't hurt.
If the election doesn't go the way you want it to go, but you walk outside and you see like little baby Jesus in the manger and Santa Claus and Rudolph, that might help. I'm just saying. Sorry.
I'm not so sure that it would, but it can't hurt.
Can't hurt. Give it a shot. Give it a shot.
And finally, buy or sell number 5. You're just glad in general that Halloween is over.
Buy. I love November 1st. Big fan. And the candy I love. The candy part is fine. I'm just not a Halloween guy. And every year on November 1st, when I wake up, there's an extra smile on my face. And today was that day. So, yeah, that's me. Whatever it says about me, that's who I am.
Let me tell you what the kids. So, real quick, my 2 kids, Hendrix and Haven, plus their friend Callie, went over to our cousin's house, right? So it's Bo, it's Cooper and Luke, and it's Jeffrey and Lukey. And after it was over with, everybody dumps their candy on the table, and the trades began.
Yes.
And what was really fascinating, I've never seen this happen before. All of the kids, there were like 7 of them, they all got their favorite candy, and none of them had candy that crossed over. So Haven got all of the Twixes. All she had at the end of the day was a bucket full of Twixes.
Good job. Good call.
Her friend, Callie, had all of the Reese's. She got every Reese's product that was available. There was another kid, sucker, who was a Three Musketeers kid.
Oh,
so he's trading all his Reese's and sneakers and
old school
for Three Musketeers, which kids would just give away.
I love that there's a kid.
Is kind of the bastard.
I just love that. Catch, I love that there's a kid out there that's still addicted to Three Musketeers. Like, no. All I need is the nougat. Really? We could give you peanuts. No. I'm good with the nougat. Leave me alone. Caramel?
And my son, do you know what he did with his?
Let's see. Your son ended up with Skittles? I don't know.
He dumped his entire thing of candy into the bucket of his friend Callie because he just doesn't like candy. So he went and collected it. And then at the end of it, he was just like,
wait a minute. Your son treated Halloween like it was some kind of like a project to help others?
basically, when it was over with, he went. Somebody was giving away bags of chips. He ate like a little snack pack of Cheetos and just dumped the whole candy into. And I thought, well, look, if you were a little older, you were a teenage boy doing that, and that's not. You need to harness your. You don't want to be the roadkill. Right? You don't want to be the guy that girls think they can just take advantage of and get the whole bucket of candy. But last night, he was take my entire bucket of candy, boy. And it was kind of funny to watch. He literally just dumped that thing and never looked back.
It's also a great way to do Halloween because as your son is going around, he doesn't care what they're putting in his bucket at all. He's like, whatever.
No, not at all.
I'm here for exercise and volume. Whatever you need to do. Just get me out of here.
I think he likes the game part of it. Go knock on a door. They give you something. You don't know what it is, but nothing other than the person who gave him a snack pack of Cheetos. He was like, oh, I'm getting into that as soon as we get home. None of the candy. None. He didn't eat a single piece. He dumped it into his friend Callie's bucket and never looked back. And ultimately, all the kids in our little group got their favorite candy, and that was basically all they had.
Yeah. And
Haven just had a basket of Twix.
Your son's also probably thinking, in about 2 weeks, I might swing by that house and just see if they have Cheetos anyway. I mean, that just might be my new Cheeto house.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my God. That is
all right.
Fantastic. All right, real quick. Before my buy or sell, ATX Big Rich says Three Musketeers and Milky Way are trash. I wouldn't go that far. I mean, the Milky Way.
They're the bastards of the candy bars.
The Milky Way has its place occasionally. My kid kind of likes Milky Way. I like this one. Brad says, we had a kid cry over getting his Almond Joy stolen. Your ass ain't eating an Almond Joy. You into Almond Joy, Catch?
No.
No, not a coconut guy?
Not at all.
It's funny. Hang on. I think there was one.
Hey, we got to do I got to go to the bathroom so bad. I'm holding it, Chad. I'm holding it.
Damn. Well,
we don't holding it.
You know what? You need to do a relaxed buy or sell. Why don't you go? You're
to the bathroom? Go potty?
You go to the bathroom. I'll give Spec some love, and then you come back. Please.
Take me off.
Yeah. We'll take you out. Don't worry, because I got to buy or sell. I got a hotter than that's going to blow Catch's mind. We can't have him going crazy like that. Michael says, as a parent, I finally understand why my dad hated teenagers on Halloween. They are tough, Michael. They are tough. The only thing I'll say about teenagers on Halloween is if you're going to go, commit. Like my kid and her group, they all dressed up. That's fine. You can't be the teenagers that don't dress up to me. Don't show up in nothing. Well, shirt. I wore my Longhorn shirt. I love the Longhorns. I know, but you wore that to school today. Like we got to have a little bit more. So I totally get that. Yeah, the teenagers can get a little weird. Also, let's give Specs a little love while Catch is going to the bathroom. If you need to go to Specs and get stocked up for your bye week, here you go.
Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets. It's Specs. Cheers to savings.
All right. If y'all want to throw us a chat, we obviously love those. We really love the super chats. If you want to throw that out. Let's see. Here's Rhett. Not dressing up as an adult is also lame to me. Yeah, Rhett. I mean, if you're going to go around, it depends. It depends on if you're engaging in the activity. Like the parents that are just walking the kids around the neighborhood and stand at the curb, they can be dressed like regular people. Like that was me. I wasn't dressed as a gargoyle or something when my kid. It's about the kids in that situation for me. That's the one person like, just don't take. You just don't want to take anything off the kids. You don't want to take attention from the kids with your costume. I think that's important. Rhett for the Halloween part. Hope everybody had a good time. Milky Way and the Three Musketeers are really taking some flack today. Derek says Milky Way sucks. I kind of dig a Milky Way, but not all the time. Milky Way is kind of an every once in a while thing for me. I don't want it on Halloween. I will give you that. I do not want it on Halloween. Catch, you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Never.
There's no way I was going to let you experience my buy or sell today, like when you were nervous and freaked out, because we're going to finish off with what I think is one of the greatest hotter thans I've ever.
You think it's better than Elvira versus I don't even remember her name.
I don't know.
Yvette DiCarlo.
I can't guarantee it, but yes, in my heart, I believe it is. We'll get there. But first, we got to get through a lot of football. Let's start with buy or sell number 1. Texas gets Javion Hilson.
Buy. Yeah, I think that's going to happen, but it probably will have a few little moments of consternation along the way.
Number 1 D end in America, Longhorn fans. Learn his name, and you just might see that happen. Catch, buy or sell number 2. Let's get you officially on the record. South Carolina beats A&M. 1-score game.
Sell. South Carolina wins by 10.
All right. Gamecocks by 10 says catch. Let's keep going around the country. Buy or sell number 3. In the 2 ranked matchups, you'll take the road teams. Ohio State and Pitt win.
Who's Pitt playing again?
SMU.
Sell. Give me the Mustangs.
There you go. Stangs in Dallas. Stangs in Dallas. I got the helmets right over here. Classic ACC. Pitt at SMU. Just like your daddy used to do it. Catch, buy or sell number 4. Clemson, Miami, and Iowa State at home. Indiana and Oregon on the road. Georgia in the cocktail party. All 6 of them win.
Buy.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice and quick.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. We will see if it is chalk or if we get some upsets there. Texas fans, obviously, you would love to see Georgia take a loss this weekend. That would be big. And finally, catch, it is a prime on prime, back-to-back nights, Halloween party hotter than. Are you ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Stacy Keibler as sexy teacher, hotter than Stacy Keibler as sexy nurse.
Sell.
Oh, he's going with the nurse.
The thing is, the nurses typically are wearing short nurse skirts.
I was thinking, is it the nurse skirt? Is it the hat? Is it the stethoscope?
It's the length of skirts.
You think the skirt length is the? You don't think the sexy teacher can have a short skirt?
I think they're typically a little longer than the short nurses' skirts.
Because you think the hospital policy on skirts is a little more relaxed than the school policy on skirts.
And there's something about like in the tight whites, the icy whites,
the icy white. Stacy Keibler in the road.
If it's ever angels and demons, you ever been to an angels and demons party, Chad?
I have not. No.
It's worth your time.
The hell is an angels and demons party?
It's where all of the women either dress up as angels or demons.
What do the guys do?
Look at the women dressed up as angels and demons.
Oh, okay. That sounds weird. All right.
Yeah, I mean, it just is.
I don't dress up.
You don't see a lot of guys dressed up as angels at the angels and demons party.
Okay, fair enough. Can I walk?
They could, I guess, but like that's not like what I think everybody's going for.
Okay, but like, could I go dad joke and like dress as Wally Joyner from the California Angels from the 80s?
You could, and that might
get me beat up.
No, I mean it might be amusing enough that somebody would smile.
Yeah, could I go as like a DePaul player? Because I go as Mark Aguirre, a Blue Demon.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just saying at the Angels and Demons parties that I've been to, that's not what's happened.
I see. You go to parties where there are cool people.
I have.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, I might have even been one, but not now. But I'm telling you that back in the day when I went to Angels and Demon parties, always find the Angels more sexy than the Demons. Okay.
By the way, I just answered the question of why I've never been to an Angels and Demons party. So there you go. I was proud of my Stacy Keibler versus Stacy Keibler hotter than. Let that one just marinate in your head all weekend.
I once had a hot tub after party. My next door neighbor across the street was a party planner, like an event guy. He did parties.
Yep.
They did this party down on Congress and 6th that was an Angels and Demons party. I can't remember the name of the club that it took place at. But afterwards, because he was responsible for paying all of the girls and everything, because he threw the party, they all went back to his house in Cedar Park, and they all made their way back over to my house, and we had a hot tub party. It was nice.
That sounds good.
It was not terrible, Chad. It was not.
I like how, and Binks is adding on to my dorkiness. Catch has no idea what the guys wear because he does not look at the guys. Okay, Binks. Okay.
He's not wrong.
I'm just trying to find out some details here.
What are the guys wearing, Chad? You're missing the point.
I understand where we were headed. I just wanted to get the structure of the party down in my head before we went there. But there you go. All right, Catch. Anything else you want to do before Scottish Guy and we get out of here?
Now I just want to go on Instagram and do a search on Angels and Demons and see what pops up. Because those had to be good popular costumes last night.
Oh, there's always, yeah. Sure.
Now I don't have Angels and Demon parties. Now I just look at pictures of other people who've had Angels and Demons.
Angels and Demons parties. All right, before we get out of here, let's get you the Scottish Guy before bye week number 2, Texas, watching everybody else play. I've got to take a little time to think things over. I better read between the lines in case I need it when I'm older. My little burnt orange babies, we've come to another bye week. Close your eyes, breathe deep, and go to your happy place. You're thinking about how bad OU sucks, right? Isn't it great? All right, focus. There are little exercises we can all do this week to make sure the rest of the season goes smoothly. Let's begin. Offensive line. You need to do some screaming friend therapy. That's when one of your friends yells at you while you stand perfectly still. You can't move until another friend yells set hut. Plus, you have to wear oven mitts all week so you won't hold on to anything the wrong way. Good luck, lads. Can't be sloppy in Vietnam. Now to you, the fans. You need to do QB therapy this week. Make up flashcards with Quinn and Arch's pictures on them. Look at the picture of Quinn while imagining a bad play. And, simultaneously, try not to boo, yell out "you suck," message him on social media, or chant "we want Arch." Then, look at the picture of Arch while imagining him coming into the game. And, simultaneously, try not to freak out like an 11-year-old at a Taylor Swift show. It will be tough, but you can do it. Woo-sa! And finally, Sark. You've got to face your fears, big guy. Only one question to answer. Are you more afraid of playing Quinn and not being able to run the plays you want to, or playing Arch because of what it will do to Quinn? The answer will lead you where you want to go. When you can remove the 5th from my hand, you're ready to leave. All right, go Cox, go Gators, and go Wildcats. Let's plow the road. Positive thoughts of victory, 62. Negative energy and mistakes, 3. This is SG. R-E-S-T. All right, there you have it.
I don't know if you saw it, Chad.
What's that?
I did a fist pump.
A fist pump?
I did a fist pump for the
for
for
Foreigner?
Foreigner. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I was hoping you'd enjoy that one.
I was like, that was, if it was like that old song, Name That Tune.
Uh-huh.
Because you channeled your inner Lou Graham.
I was trying. Yeah, you gotta, if you're gonna do it.
Scottish guy doing Lou Graham was one of the highlights of my week so far. And I thank you for that.
Hey, I appreciate it. Did you happen to watch the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony yet?
Not the most recent one, no.
Catch. Foreigner goes in. And Lou shows up during like the performance part. and he's pretty good. Like he's old Lou Graham at this point, right? You know what you're getting. Catch Kelly Clarkson sang that song with him. Wow. And I've never been the biggest fan of that song. Of all the Foreigner songs, like it never, for some reason, that song never connected with me. And I never just thought, oh my God, that's the greatest song in the world. But man, the way Kelly Clarkson sings it, it's incredible. It's just amazing. And it keeps reminding me how great Kelly is. She's a freaking Texas treasure, and she can out-sing just about anybody on the planet.
No, there's no doubt about it. What's your favorite Foreigner song?
Honestly, after seeing them live with this last run, not original members and all that stuff, but just feeling the songs live, I think it's Jukebox Hero. And I never would have said that before, but catch the way that song landed live. It was badass. And so I think that's probably where I would go. What about you?
It's been the same answer for more than 40 years.
Okay.
I'm waiting for a girl like you.
Oh, yeah. That was good live too.
I love the movie Footloose. And so like some things just are always going to be that way.
So catch, here's what I'm going to tell you. Because I was an anti-go see Foreigner guy for years. Lou's not there. Original members aren't there. The guy that's singing these songs right now does such a good job. The crowd gets into it. If you have a feeling about Foreigner, I would tell you to go see that crew. The band is tight as hell. The lead singer will impress you, and you will love hearing those songs live.
The thing about Foreigner is I only have about 5 songs of theirs that I really get down with.
Right, but then they're going to play like 4 or 5 more that you might go, oh yeah, and they kill those too. Like it's
okay. I'm not opposed to it.
Good
I'm
show.
just telling you that I don't know that I have an inherent need. Like I dig Foreigner, and there are a few songs, especially "Waiting for a Girl Like You," that I love. But they're okay.
Yeah, and
I love Lou Graham. Like
right.
there's a lot more positive than negative. I just have never had the itch to go see Foreigner in concert, even when Lou was still participating.
I got you. See, and I was that way because I'm not a huge fan of theirs. They were the wrong time for me. It just didn't hit me right. But I went because I wanted to, and we took our daughter. I wanted her to see some of those songs live, and I wanted to watch my wife kind of react because my wife loves Foreigner, and it was really good. It was really good.
Well, what is your favorite Foreigner song?
Let's see. My wife's favorite Foreigner song, I believe, is Jukebox Hero. I think that's what she would tell me. Because 9 times out of 10, if you hear a Foreigner song in my wife's car, yeah, it's the standing out in the steady downpour and that whole thing. My wife, you try to turn Jukebox Hero off in my wife's car, you may come back with a broken finger.
See, and if you're in my car, waiting for a girl like you.
To come in.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. See, I like that one better than I Want to Know What Love Is.
What's a better song?
That's always, yeah. I've always thought that was a more solid. It lives through time a little better as a ballad of theirs than the other one. The other one just kind of got trapped in the 80s for me, and
I just like going, waiting over and over again.
Oh, it's good stuff. All right. I don't see any super chats. Catch, you got anything else on a Friday?
Yeah, waiting.
Would you like to sing?
No, I'm good. I got it out of my system. Yeah, waiting
for a girl like you. All right, to all you Foreigner fans, y'all have
Kevin
a great
Bacon, never been better.
Thank you for liking, subscribing, getting your notifications. Enjoy the second bye week. When we come out of the bye week, have your rest because we got 2 11 a.m. kicks up next for Texas.
Yeah, waiting.
That's right. Florida and
you knew what you were getting into when you agreed to do a show with me the second time around.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know that's what I count on. Are you kidding? I count on
waiting.
I count on the weird moments where you just sing Foreigner for no reason at all. Because my favorite moment, maybe ever, when we were doing radio, was the moment when our producer thought it was crazy that we were both singing the Fall Guy theme, and you and I looked at each other like, well, that's not weird at all.
Yeah.
That's normal. I sing the Fall Guy theme a lot. I sing it at home.
It felt different when that show was only 22 years old or something like that.
That's true. It's a little different now. You think it's a little different?
A little bit.
If we laid into the Fall Guy theme, well, hey, they just did the movie.
That's true.
Yeah.
But they changed the lyrics of the song, so it's not even the same.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
I'm in school, but I've taught ladies. And then when the Fall Guy plays, I like to go, hey, hey.
Oh, absolutely. The hey, hey, you got to have it. That was good, though. I didn't know that I was ever going to get the answer to the question, Catch, of, okay, give me 2 ways we could ruin the Fall Guy theme song for you. Well, why would you do that? Well, I don't know. Let's just say we're going to ruin it. Okay, well, first off, you'd have to change all the lyrics that matter. Like, you'd have to change the lyrics that put it in its time frame and make it great. Take out the Bo Derek reference, take out the Sally Field, take out all of it.
No more Cheryl Teagues, all of it.
Right, take all of that out. Okay, after that, what's the only other way we could really make it even worse? I don't know, have like Blake Shelton sing it. Ding! That's what they, like, oh my Lord. It's horrible. Anyway, movie was pretty good.
Way to give all of our remaining viewers a stomach ache. Like, our souls are in pain now.
Yeah, it's bad. I'm sorry. You know what? Cleanse them, Catch. Give them a little Lou Graham on the way out.
Yeah, waiting.
I like that it's just that part. You don't keep going.
Yeah, waiting. Yeah, I like it when he does that little run after, it's like the double infusion of, he'll go, yeah, waiting. And in the background, it's, yeah, waiting.
Oh, it's fantastic. Grab yourself some Foreigner this weekend, kids. That's what you do during your bye week.
It'll be better than the Cowboys game, I'll tell you that.
Oh, absolutely. Catch, let me tell you what, doing a little traveling this weekend. I'm going to see my folks. My niece and I are going to drive out and see my folks. We're going to watch the Aggie game together. We're going to structure the whole weekend around A&M and South Carolina. But if you think we're structuring any of the weekend around Cowboys Falcons, you're out of your damn mind. There's no way. No chance.
I don't even know. Am I supposed to look forward to that? They're on the road Sunday noon.
And if they somehow surprise you, they'll be
to get me to go to church.
If they somehow surprise you, Catch, it will only get them to 4-4. You do realize that,
I don't know what surprise supposed to be. I spin the wheel. I know it can land on anything. My favorite thing is this is right about the time when the Cowboys will put together a performance and win a game 34-10, and then Cowboy fans will start doing that thing that they do.
Absolutely. They'll make videos of themselves dancing around. They'll put their Aikman jerseys on.
Remember, when this season started, I said either 8-9 or 7-10.
That is true. You said that.
They are headed down that highway.
Oh, my God.
And if you knew in advance, well, they're not as good as last year's team because they lost some players and then didn't add any. And what would that where would that lead you? Very average. Okay. Well, this is what it looks like, guys. Don't get worked up on Sunday. This is who we are.
Catch, there's only one thing I'm certain of right now as a Cowboys fan. The Texans are going to smash them. They're going to beat them so bad on that Monday night. I'm terrified of what that game could be.
The Cowboys no longer terrify me. What could be terrifying, more terrifying than anything that we've already been through?
Yeah, well, man, I guess that's fair. And the answer is seeing the Texans with the young quarterback that makes sense and the young coach that makes sense. I've already come to
grips with they have a better long-term future than we do.
I've come to grips with it, but to actually watch it workshop itself in front of me, that's the part I may not quite be ready for.
Hey, we got more Dak to look forward to, so there's that.
Yeah. All right. We didn't need to end the show with sad Cowboy talk. Catch, give him a little Foreigner, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, waiting.
That's what I'm talking about. Waiting for the Cowboys to play well. All right. We will talk to you.
The fun thing is you could have asked me to sing a different foreigner song, at which point I would do more than just the waiting.
Do you have could you give me a little jukebox hero? What would you do with that?
That's not really my jam, but I could do some Cold as Ice.
Cold as Ice. Give me some Cold as Ice.
Now I'm on the spot. She's as cold as ice.
Willing to sacrifice our love. Oh, man.
As
cold as ice. That one was good live, too. I was surprised how many of them hit really well live. I dug them. I dug it.
I might record a video over the weekend where I sing the entire
the whole Foreigner 4 album. Just the whole deal.
And I'll post it on Twitter and see where it gets me.
That is fantastic. All right, y'all have a great weekend. We will talk to you Monday at noon for the next House Divided. Kids, enjoy your 4 and 5 day weekends. See